Thank you for tuning into Soul GPS. This is where we learn to take our life in our hands after narcissistic abuse. And I just want to say that I made it to Milan, to Italy last night, and got a chance to see a little bit of the town today. And in the last couple of days, I've been doing a lot of research. I actually went down the deep rabbit hole of psychopathy and looked at some of the most dark characteristics of what these people are. And there's of course so much overlap with narcissism. And I've been reading your comments, and I have been thinking a lot about the message, the next message I really want to communicate to you. And I actually have such a list of videos I want to make. But you know, in the next few days, I'm going to be all over the place, changing towns all the time, and I'll be with my best friend. And so she and I are going to be probably busy doing a lot of stuff together. So I wanted to really get this message in before I vanish for a few days. And this message deals with the biggest fear that from what I'm reading, from what I'm researching, the narcissist and the psychopath, the sociopath, the biggest fear that they have. And the biggest fear that they have is that they're going to be found out. And I think that one of their greatest weapons that they have against us is the fact that we just cannot believe. I'm hearing this over and over again. We just cannot believe how someone can be so callous, so violent, so just lacking in compassion. How can somebody be so calculating to set up this whole experience to bring us so high, only to then with delight watch us crash down to the ground and burn? And one of the things that I have stumbled upon when I was doing my research, and I'm reading several books, and I'm watching videos, and reading articles and so on, so I'm pulling from a variety of sources. And one of the things I wanted to explain to you is that there's a difference between what motivates the narcissist and the whole idea of them having built a defense system. And yes, there are people who will lash out and aggress if they are being encroached upon. And I think that those people are mostly the people who have been through a lot of abuse before, and it's a result of a CPTSD, right? Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, when they have had just so much stress piled on their souls that just that one more thing makes them just lash out. That's not what the narcissist does or the psychopath does. The difference is that while some people aggress because they're motivated by fear, people like them aggress because they're motivated by desire. The difference is that they can stalk their prey, they can look and observe and plan. And once they find what the biggest vulnerability is, they're going to attack that. They're going to strike to get what they want. So they first need to look at what it is that they want from that person and find the best way to extract it without having to give anything of their own. Because, you know, a balanced, harmonious system in the universe is such that you give and then you receive. And it's a dance. It's a dance of energies. That's the healthy way of exchanging and of being. In fact, we need that in order to thrive and survive too in our world. These people, what they do is they look for a way, and they use their cunning thinking in order to set up a situation in which they're the only winners and you're the loser. For example, there could be a situation where someone is very vulnerable at work, that the boss knows that they are very dependent upon this job, and knowing that vulnerability, they're going to, you know, suck every last drop out of their soul, drop of blood, in order to extract as much work from them as possible. And they may even insinuate something along the lines, well, you want to get paid more? Oh, you want this, you want that? Well, then maybe you should consider doing this extra special project for me, right? You know, it's gonna be in the evenings and we're gonna go off-site, you know, shit like that. Or with the lover narcissist, right? You want they know that you want to go back to that moment of how it was in the beginning, how beautiful and wonderful it was, like the whole fairy tale that they have whipped up. Also scheming and thinking, you know. One of the things my narcissist had told me is like he's been watching romantic movies and studying what a girl wants. I mean, he actually like told me a lot of this stuff. I missed it all because I was just so blinded by the dream of what I wanted, right? He just like, he found out where I was starving and he fed me all of that. And even to this day, I think about it and I have that little pang in my stomach, but it's not really strong anymore. I'm so far from where I used to be. But so they find out what that is, and they know that you're striving and starving for those early moments in a relationship, and they're going to then use that as a carrot, dangling carrot in front of you, in front of your nose, in order to make you do the things for them and be saying, okay, well, we can hug and we can cuddle, but oh, I need help with this project, or oh, this was such you know, I'm so hungry. It was such a nice meal that you made 2 days ago. Can you do it again? And you, of course, you do it. You make everything, and then they just sit, eat, and burp, and they, you know, push the plate off like you're their servant or something. You know, this form of treatment. So you always feel like you're gonna get something nice in return, but you do your job, but nothing comes back to you. That's where the devaluation stage really starts to kick in. You know, they might even make nasty remarks like they don't like the way you sneeze, or tell you, oh, you know, you snore at night, or, you know, you kicked me last night, you know, when we slept together, I don't want to sleep with you anymore, you know, shit like that. I mean, there's just a whole encyclopedia of things that they can do, but the point is to always prod that wound, whatever that vulnerability of yours is, and then make you crave that drug that they have introduced into your body in the early stages of romancing you, or in the early stages of providing the sense of security if it's a work situation, right? Or that friendship that you never had, that friend, and now they have this amazing friend who's just like totally adores you and they want to do everything with you, and then eventually, you know, once they start to find the next person to do things for them, you know, they're gonna start treating you like trash. So their biggest fear is to be found out, and the biggest fear of the narcissist is for the truth to finally sink in. And I'm reading your comments and I'm watching you guys as you're struggling so hard, especially in the early days, and I've been there too, and it's absolutely natural. It's gonna be so bumpy in the beginning. It's gonna be like I mentioned in one of my videos. I really like this analogy, but it's like you climbing a mountain that's made out of mud and it's raining. So you make a few steps and then you slide back down. You make a few steps, but I tell you this, if you continue on this path, there will be a moment and it might not, it's all incremental, right? It's just like, I don't know if you know about this, I'm gonna veer off the side for a second, but in heat, when physicists were measuring how temperature increase occurs, it doesn't occur smoothly. It's not a smooth curve. It's incremental. It's jumps. It's like quantum jumps. So you're going to be going through these quantum jumps of healing, and you'll feel like, oh, like one day you'll wake up and something's going to feel different, you know. And it's all about like how much self-care you have done, you know, how much work you have done on yourself. The scales will start to tip, and then you will go back into feeling shitty, and then you will have another good day. So never give up on yourself. Keep pushing yourself. Keep moving. Keep trying to break those patterns, and then love yourself when you feel down. Love yourself with all your heart. So it's gonna feel kind of weird because you're so not used to it, but trust me, you'll get there. So what they're afraid of being found out, because once you get to a certain stage, and especially if you continue your self-care, if you continue to supplement your self-care with education and really studying this thing, I really highly recommend you study this thing, how these people are. They have no conscience. They have no empathy. They have super developed drive and motivation and the will. Once they want something, they're gonna go for it. They do not have the same emotions that we do. That's why they look down upon us as if we're just like these stupid minions that fall for everything, and like something happens and we freak out, and you know, they say one word and we're like all in tears, and they just kind of go like, fuck, you know, these people are just so weak, and so they have all of this disregard for us. And so there's a percentage of population out there, we need to know this, that are aggressing, that they have a different form of mind, different brain, different way of thinking, different way of perception, and the only thing that motivates them is to have more and more and more. They never get enough. It's like it's like this animal that just can't get enough food, that can't get enough supply. So, and that's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. So don't even think for a moment, once you recognize all the red flags, once you know that you're feeling really bad, once your health starts to deteriorate, don't even think for a moment that they're going to change. They are not going to change. If they wanted to change, they would have already done it. They're not going to do that. So you're dealing with a predator. You're dealing with somebody who's, I haven't yet verified this, but I'm going to put it out there, but it's not verified. I need to look at more brain scans and stuff like that. But it looks like their right hemisphere is underdeveloped. So they're not really in tune with intuition and that sort of feminine side. They're very much left brain. So they're like A, B, C, D, E, get this done to get to this point, to get to this point, which kind of makes sense, right? And then they're in their limbic brain, their hypothalamus is not really developed. And whereas their amygdala, which is what's responsible for the fight and flight, in their case it's mostly fight, is overreactive. So the smallest thing can set them off, right? If like imagine they have this plan, right? A, B, C, D. They're like everything is working out well. You know, they love it, especially if you're suffering. Oh, they love that too, because now they don't have to work as hard to make themselves feel more superior to you, because you're already doing the job for them, right? They've already put so much brainwashing in your head that you're already self-sabotaging. They love that, right? So you have bitten on the hook. Now it's going, and they're just sitting back and watching. Like, great. Now they want to, on top of it, turn you into this automaton robot, so you get shit done for them. So on top of it, they have like the perfect servant, who's suffering and always begging for a little bit of love, right? So that's what and so they're moving forward. So they have you taken care of. Now they're going probably after another prey, after another target. So they have that going on, and because you know you may wake up and leave at any moment. This is what's happened to them in the past. They always are aware of that in the back of their head, that there will come a point where it's no longer going to work, because you're either going to be worn out, or you're going to leave, you're going to wake up, or you die. Right? So they're like, okay, they're always thinking of finding other sources of supply. So they're always thinking, they're always scheming, they're always doing that form of thing in the back of their head. That's why sometimes they seem kind of like distracted and like they're in their own world, because that's what they're doing. But it's not emotional. It's purely predatory. So it's like, you know, they just can't get enough. All right. So now imagine you're going to throw a fit, right? Because you just can't get enough, or you really want to make things better, or you tell them, let's go to counseling. And I mean, you gotta be shitting me. What, me to freaking counseling? I'm here trying to fucking take over the world, and you're telling me I'm supposed to, and of course they're not gonna tell you this, but they're gonna, inside they're like, oh God, you know, fuck, yeah, I don't want to deal with this shit. So they're gonna, you know, maybe go along with it for a moment, and then they're gonna throw another grenade under your feet, so that you can leave them alone, so that they can continue scheming and doing their thing. But, and all of you guys watching, you are on your way to get there. Once you see this for what it is, there will be a moment when it all holistically clicks in your mind, and it clicks in your emotion and in your heart and your soul. You'll see it. That's a moment. That's like a moment of enlightenment. You're gonna start seeing it everywhere. You're going to walk down the street and see it. Of course, some of you, and I'm going to make a video about this, but some of you are feeling like you're really suffering from the PTSD of like, now you want to isolate, now you don't want to even go out, or you don't trust people. That's 100% natural. When I'm looking around, even here being in Milan, I was just sitting and people watching today. I was observing how people are. Majority of our human population is pretty fucked up, I must say. We're so infected by this virus, and it's partially coming from the top. Actually, not partially, mainly coming from the top, because psychopaths are ruling our planet. They're the ones who are in charge and in control. It's been going on for centuries, right? And we're at the point when there's this saturation point, where it's in the media, it's in the movies we watch. Everything is about buy, power and control, power and control, power and control. No problem, like get this agenda met. What do we need to do? We need to kill 30,000 people and drop a few bombs. Sure, let's do it. Go. You have my permission. That's the world we're living in. It's upside down. It's completely fucked up. So I was looking at the people, right? And I was thinking about this, like, and this image of a bell curve came into my mind. It's kind of like, you know, it starts low here, then it kind of bulges up, and then it goes back down. And I'm thinking, you know, psychopaths comprise like one end of the spectrum. These are the hardest, the most cunning, the most, you know, people in the government, just turn on the news, you'll see them. They're all out there, right? So that's that. Then on the other side, you have the empaths, the people who are just have this really, it's like so much compassion and so much love for this planet, and they take on all this suffering. They should be the ones to rule the world. It should be the other way around. So our world has been stolen from us, right? And then you have the middle, the bulging belly, which is, I think, is a combination of the two extremes, of the good and the bad. And people are just confused, you know? They're just walking around like robots. They're just gotta go. Mostly it's because they're exhausted, because of the system is just sucking the blood out of them, and they have to, you know, do their jobs that they hate, and they're in debt, and they're unhealthy because they've been eating all the junk food, listening to all the ads, so they think that they need to, you know, get this new outfit, and they need to lose weight, and they need to, it's like endless run that they can't almost come out of it. It's a cognitive dissonance and trauma bond at a yet higher level. So I want you to know this, as you're working through your trauma bond and your cognitive dissonance with your narc, this is a microverse of a much bigger macroverse that you are going to disconnect. Once you pull the plug from the micro, you're going to pull the plug from the macro. And your world's gonna change. That's why this is such a transformative opportunity. That's why I've been talking about this so much, because it really is, and it's really empowering. And the biggest fear that these people have, and they're total utter cowards. Just look at who we're bombing right now. We're bombing the Middle East, which is poor people. You know, we're not gonna go against a major superpower. We're not gonna, you know, we're going after the weak ones, right? That's what we do. That's what cowards do. That's what narcissists do. That's why they're on the extreme spectrum of evil, right? And using people, and no conscience, no empathy, just animalistic drives. And then there are these butterfly-like, kind of childlike people who just, you know, they believe that the world is, that we're all like that, you know, that we've been just hurt, so we need more compassion, and we need, you know, when I hear this, I just go like, this is so upside down. So we are their targets. We're like the perfect matches. So we're like, what's his name? I don't think if he's a doctor, but he wrote this human magnet syndrome. Right, so this guy, I'm forgetting his name. You'll know who I'm talking about. He created this pattern, this whole model of, and he made a scale of, you know, are you like full-blown narcissist, like a scale 4, or are you like a number 1? And then are you like, for your empathy or codependence, are you on a scale? And then, you know, when you meet your opposite, it's gonna, like, sparks are gonna fly off, because you have that biggest taker going for the biggest giver, and it's just like this perfect match, right? But the reason why we empaths go for the takers is because we have been trained to be this way, to be very empathic in our childhood, because this was our form of survival. We were most likely, I don't know if this is for everyone, but I think for most cases it is the case. We were raised in a unsafe environment where there were threats, there were either arguments, or there was some form of a lack, you know, there's never enough money, or this or this. There was always like this tension. And we found out that when we enter the situation and we're nice and we're calming and we take care of those narcissists and we do things for them, they're going to be appeased and they'll be pleased. And therefore, you know, they're not going to be aggressing towards us. So this was how our subconscious has guided us. So now we've been programmed to be this when we go out into the the big wide world, and we meet another one of those narcs who, you know, figures out like, what do we want? What do we need to hook us in? Once we're hooked, you know, we continue to provide and give to them, and they're just going to be taking and eating and eating and feeding on that. And it's like a vampire. So that's the kind of the big picture. And so I want you to know this, that the moment you're gonna really, your eyes will open, and you'll know when that moment happens. Right now, you're picking up bits and pieces, you're healing yourself. It's a lot of work. It's really difficult. You know, it's a crash course in reality, you know? So be proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Know that I am proud of you for doing all the work that you're doing every day, even if it's just a little bit. As long as you're moving forward, you're moving out of that hole, out of that pit, and moving towards self-reverence, moving towards self-love, towards self-acceptance, towards pride of yourself. Tell yourself every day what you're proud of yourself for. You know, practice those things. Make it a habit. This only takes a few minutes, but the dividends are huge, right? So a practice that I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I'm just going to mention now, is you stand in front of the mirror in the morning and you tell yourself the 3 things, or you can say more, 3 things you're proud of yourself for, 3 things you forgive yourself for, and 3 things you're committed to. And you can start your day every day like this. It will literally take you 5 minutes, and speak to yourself, looking at yourself in the eyes in the mirror, and then give yourself a big hug to yourself if you love yourself. And every day you're gonna like look forward to that, because it's gonna set your day. You know, it's gonna give you that extra energy that's gonna fill your cup. So as you're going through this, as you're moving forward, and again, I know it's really difficult, you are headed for a moment of revelation. And once all of these things click, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it all. And at that point, they have lost one of their minions, you know? And if this can happen on a large scale around the world, this world can really change. I'm really serious about this, because I'm seeing already, just watching the news and seeing what's going on. Actually, I don't watch the news, that's all brainwashed, but I just kind of, you know, I have my sources that I like to, and I can feel it. I can feel it with my body, you know. I'm very sensitive, so I can, like, being in a city, going from a country, I was just, you know, in Slovenia, it's like, I'm picking up all of these energies and all of these things, and I'm feeling this fear around the world, and it's the fear of the masses too, about, you know, what we're doing. And as we're facing so many incoming catastrophes, but also there's a fear that's coming, that's dripping down from the top, because more and more people are waking up. The consciousness of the world is rising. Most people are waking up, but they don't quite know what to do with that different, you know, state of mind, because there's just so much bullshit still out there, right? There's all these, you know, new age groups. I made a video about, I think it's 10 steps and signs of knowing that you're spiritually brainwashed. You know, so there's just so much vulnerability still, right? And there are all these traps in form of debt, in form of just, you know, being so reliant upon the system and this and that. But more and more people are stepping outside of it, and they're realizing the freedom that is available to us. It's right here. We just need to reach for it. Right, but we've been so mind controlled. We've been so, and with these relationships especially, that we think that this is the way it is, but it's not really the way it is. You know, the way it is that it's really bad. It's the truth. It is pretty bad, but there are also amazing things happening, and there is a shift going on. So they're afraid that enough people are going to wake up and they will unsubscribe from the system. They're going to unsubscribe from it, because we're not going to fight it. By fighting it, we're only creating more conflict. So that's why, you know, it's a no contact. That's the best defense against the narcissist, is just remove yourself from the environment. Now imagine if majority of people just turn their backs on those who are in power, and those who are, you know, who have been sucking resources out of people for centuries, for millennia, poor people, you know, and there's like, why is one person worth more than another, right? Like, you have these bankers, you have these people who are just, you know, they're living a parasitic lifestyle off of the workers. You know, it's wrong. It's so wrong. So, and people are just realizing this. I mean, this is turning into a political rant. I was not going to go there, but it all ties together, because it is really a micro, what we've been through in the relationship. It's a micro reflection of much bigger situation. And also the macro is creating the micro, and it's also affecting your brain. So it really is like, it starts in the brain, and then it projects out into our interpersonal. First it's a relationship with the self, then it's a relationship with other people, family, right? The thing that we're mostly we need to mostly work out and get a hold of. And then there is the big picture of society and the world. But the key to all of this, to resolving all of this, is the relationship with the self. And it's giving yourself the love, the acknowledgement, everything that you didn't get in your life, to become self-sustained, to become sovereign and independent, and be able to stay strong like a warrior, and have all the resources you need at your disposal because they come from within you. That's going to give you such an incredible sense of self-dependence that no one ever will be able to take away from you. That's why this work is so important. That's why I'm devoting my life to this, because it can change the world. And so I'm seeing this silent revolution happening, you know, and because it's quiet, it's really like you're basically going to take all of your attention, all of your resources, and rather than feed the games of those psychopaths, narcissists, just these sick people, right? Instead of feeding into that, you're going to turn your attention towards something constructive and creative and wonderful, something that you want for yourself. And as you're doing that, you're going to create this, like they create a trail of destruction in their wake, you're going to create a trail of creation and inspiration in your wake. And then you're going to pass through and somebody else will notice, and then they're going to get inspired and they're going to be touched by what you do, and so on. And so it can spread, right? And collectively we can start feeling that. So you, my dear viewer, you are participating through your healing process also to healing the world. So I wanted to really give you a sense of purpose and a mission in this video. Not that you now have to go and do what I'm doing, although if you feel inspired to share your stories and get out there and help others, by all means do it. We need it. We need people who are inspired, who want to, you know, really open their hearts and do the work that really needs to be get done, you know, rather than working say at a store or a bank. Maybe you could become a teacher, maybe you could become an advisor, maybe you could become a coach, maybe you could become a counselor, you know, maybe you could help heal the world. Maybe there's a calling deep inside you, you know, the fluttering in the deep recesses of your heart. Maybe it hasn't come forward yet because you're still healing, you still have all this work to do. But eventually, if that calling also aligns with your healing, and then it begins to sprout, then you'll unfurl your wings and you go that much further and faster through your healing process. So anyway, this is turning into a longer video than I had anticipated. I'm still in my, it's getting dark here. It's the evening here in Milan. I'm in my hotel room, so that's why it's bare walls and nothing too exciting for you yet. But I was really inspired, and I wanted to really put that message out there. Know that I'm thinking of you all the time. I'm reading your messages, I'm reading your emails, I'm reading the comments that you're leaving, and I love that you guys are helping each other too. I'm seeing that you're replying to other people's messages, and it's awesome that we can support each other here, because it like whenever we do something kind to another person, it fills up our heart. So it helps us heal as well. So I want to encourage you to do more of that. And another thing, so I'm in transit right now. I'm doing my email support. So if you guys want to work with me a little bit on a deeper, more personal level, let me know. Let me know that that's what you want. Be explicit. Then you can state what it is that you want to work on. There's a little charge that's attached to that, and I put the link to my PayPal below the videos. So it's you know, the price is there. It's really low. I try, you know, not to make it unaffordable or anything like that. Also, if you'd like to send a donation, you're welcome to do that as well. It's not required. I'm not doing this for that reason. I'm doing this to help you guys heal and to use my experiences towards something constructive. So now this is a labor of love. And I just love knowing that my videos are helping you guys. Like I was saying, I have so much more for you. I have a lot more about also the dark side of the narc and what's going on in their head. You know, I went there again, and I saw some things, and so I really want to validate your experience that it is a really dark force. It is a really dark energy. It is really low frequency. It's super predatory. It's incredibly dangerous, and I'm just so proud of each and every one of you that has woken up or got to the point where you have given yourself the permission to leave that situation, leave that relationship, because that relationship is never going to be sustainable. It's never going to be nurturing. It's never going to give you what you really need. What you really need is within you. You need to first draw these resources from you and give yourself the love that you need. And once you do that, then we will be ready for a really powerful relationship that no doubt awaits you as you move forward in your journey. So, and might be a relationship with a lot of people, might be a relationship of some form of creativity, some form of some act that is going to just fulfill you tremendously. So as you're healing, continue that momentum, because you're going to reach the summit and then you're going to fly. So don't stop. Don't rest on your laurels. Keep asking your soul what it wants, what it needs. Keep giving yourself the love that you so deserve. And remember to always let your inner compass guide you. I will see you guys in another video from another town. Take care. Lots of blessings. Ciao.